what actually shifts your vibration more than anything else. If you look up online how to raise your vibration, you will probably see answers such as listen to affirmations, be in nature, take spiritual baths, and all of these other things. And while those do work short term, they're not really a long-term shift. So I've made it my literal mission today to show you the permanent way to raise your vibration, which I have learned after many years of disciplined metaphysical training. Let me tell you something that's extremely important to understand before we hop into the lesson. So when I first began my journey, I was looking for quick fixes for raising my vibration. If I would get stressed, I would go and boom, light an incense, hop onto a meditation, and yeah, I would feel good. But the next time I would get stressed out, immediately my vibration would go down. But the more that I got into Hermeticism and understanding the true power of the mind, the more that I understood that raising your vibration is actually a lifestyle. It's a state of being that is rooted in how good you get at directing mental energy. And this is really the key that has gotten me to live the life that I have now, which I would say is a life of being an up spiral success. So yes, this is why it is a permanent shift. So let's get into the lesson. We will break this lesson up into 4 parts. The first one will be understanding the nature of a high frequency. The second part will be elevating your state of awareness. Number 3 will be alignment to a higher vibrational identity. And number 4 will be to integrate your dark side. So let's get into it. First, we're going to cover understanding the nature of high frequency. The first thing I want to cover is the principle of Hermeticism, all is mind. This is the first Hermetic principle there is because it really is the culmination of all the other principles that make up reality. And in order to really understand how to reach a high frequency, you must understand this principle. So the principle, all is mind, entails that we are all parts of the mind of God, or the mind of the all, as they say in Hermeticism. And because of this, we are all tuned into the law of one and the source of love, right? Because God is love, okay? The all is pure love, and not in the way that humans perceive love as like, oh, I love somebody, but it's like the energy that gives everything life, and this entire universe, and the universe is outside of that too. But because everything is God and everything is love, that means that there is only one primordial frequency, and that is the frequency of love. And this is the only reason why you can even reach a high vibration in the first place, right? But because we are in the realm of duality, what happened is that it split up into fractions of this entity, right? Or God. So what happened with love is that now it created another state, okay? Fear. And love and fear is the only 2 vibrations that actually exist, okay? And fear is really just another version of love, okay? Fear is the separation or the illusion of separation, because you can never actually be separated. It's just like an illusion that comes with this material realm of separation from God. So all frequencies that are low stem from fear, and all frequencies that are high stem from love. And really, all frequencies that are coming from fear, right? Like all the other emotions that we see, such as sadness, anger, and all other vibrations stem from indirectly or directly from these 2. And once again, even fear is a version of love, is really just the most like when you're really over-identifying with the ego, right? With this material realm, and then you begin to be more consumed by the illusion of reality. So that's when you manifest fear, and when you manifest love is when you are in that state of more closeness or oneness with the divine, with the source, God. So with that being said, in order to permanently raise your vibration, you must train your mind to direct energy towards the frequency of love rather than the illusion of separation, which comes from the ego and is rooted in fear. But what nobody tells you is that in order to navigate the mind of God, in order to navigate the principle of all is mind and actually really get good at using it, you need to understand the principle of gender, okay? Which is how God, or like the all, expresses itself in this material realm, like how everything comes into formation is through the principle of gender. So let's talk really quick about the principle of gender, although I have an entire playlist about it, which I recommend you watch after this video. But anyways, the principle of gender is basically the principle that states that there are 2 primordial energies in which God manifests into this realm to create what we see now here. And that is the feminine energy and the masculine energy. And the thing about this, you basically want to see the feminine energy as the heart and the masculine energy as the order, right? The conscious mind that puts it into reality. So you want to see this more as like the vibration or the matrix itself. And the masculine energy would be the coder of the matrix, right? The one that puts this feminine vision, the dream, this vibration with potential and puts it into reality to structure it into the worlds that we see today, right? For example, look at it in the way that if my atoms didn't have masculine energy, I would just fall apart into chaos and become, abstract and one with everything, okay? So that is what the masculine energy does. It's give in order to the feminine. And these must work together in order to achieve a higher vibration, because everything is made out of these two energies. The countries, businesses, people, animals, everything is made out of these two energies, okay? Like everything. So it's very important to understand that you work through these two energies, and when these two are more harmonized and they're working in a marriage within you, that's when you reach a higher state of unity to oneness. Okay, I'm gonna put the vibrational scale right here. So the vibrational scale, as you can see, once again, remember, love is a higher vibration, so that's where all of these other higher vibrations come from. And fear is a lower vibration, which all of the lower vibrations come from, right? So the more in unity that these two energies are within you, the more that you manifest a higher vibrational state of mind and unity. And the more in a fight that these two energies are within you, the more that you manifest a lower state of being. So for example, when you begin to go too much into the feminine energy, I'm gonna put a graph here that I created on masculine and feminine energy. So as you can see on the top, these two energies must work together, right? The heart, the emotions, the internal world, the subconscious mind, the flow, creative energy all comes from the feminine energy, and the order, the structure, the will, the taking action, the external world, therefore the conscious mind, the identity, the individualism, right? The self comes from the masculine energy. So these two must be working in harmony together. When you go too much into extreme, for example, going too much into the feminine energy makes you fall into emotional chaos since you're lacking order, which comes from a masculine. And then you start to have problems with your identity, right? You don't have like a strong self-love, which comes from the masculine energy since it's the self. And you begin to not realize your visions into reality because you don't have that structure and action. And when you go too in the masculine energy, that's when you disconnect from the heart and you go too much into the ego, manifesting a selfish and also materialistic way of life. And of course, being very rational, cutting out the spiritual aspect of life that comes from the feminine. Instead of order, you manifest control since you're missing that flow that comes from the feminine energy, right? You become basically ruled by the ego. So those are really just summaries because I have a whole videos on these two energies. But as you can see, when they are not working together, right? Because if you go to an extreme, it's because you're repressing an energy, right? Going to the masculine is because you're repressing the feminine, etc. When you go into extreme, that's when you're manifesting like a hellish state of mind. Literally, according to mysticism, the imbalance of these two energies are the hell state of mind, because hell and heaven are not places that you go to. They are states of mind. And heaven comes from the unity of these two. Hell comes from separation. And remember, when these two energies are more in unity and harmony within you, you have greater control over your reality, right? Being in a high vibration is not just like, oh, like everything is nice, like we feel good. No, yes, it's that, but it's also you're having greater conscious control over your reality and having greater connection to God, right? The mind, where everything comes from, right? That unity, like you literally share a mind with God. You have greater control over your reality when you align these energies. The word gender means to beget, which is to create. And when you create, you are in alignment with the creator, okay? And when you align with this truth and you embody it, that is when you raise your frequency. Now, the second step is to expand the power of the mind. In order to understand this, we got to understand the concept of the Temple of Solomon, which wasn't just an actual temple. It is actually a very ancient mystical symbol for the presence of God seen in Hermeticism, the Kabbalah, Freemasonry, and many other ancient esoteric teachings. So it basically signifies the holy space where you have the presence of the creator within you and how to achieve it. So as you can see, I'm going to put a picture right here because I can't draw all of that. For you to understand, right, you can see the consciousness, which is the concentration, and that would be the masculine essence of the mind. And then you have the feminine essence, which is meditation. And I actually like to call this more awareness, the seat of the observer. This is one of the ways that you're gonna have to use them in order to raise your frequency. So let's go first with the feminine energy. The feminine energy, when it comes to this specific concept, it is the observer, the ability to observe without judgment, right? Sitting in your body and being able to observe your thoughts, observe your energy, observe your behavior, observe how your everything is manifesting in this moment. And masculine energy would be the concentration, your ability to direct energy using intention to give it obviously an order, okay? So here you can find a state of relaxation, a state of flow, and here you find a state of direction. The direction and intention in which you program energy with, because remember that where you place your energy is where reality grows. And using these two is exactly how you're gonna be able to train your mind in order to choose a higher vibration, choose the state of unity. So first, understanding feminine energy, you can draw back your energy, okay? Because obviously we get overtaken by the subconscious mind every single day. Like you probably wake up and you go about your day, you don't understand that you're in an autopilot. And then if you can understand how to draw back and observe and become aware in the present moment, that is when you can be in flow with this specific energy, right? The feminine energy. You can draw back your energy from where your subconscious is taking it, okay? So when you draw back your energy, you can then redirect it with the masculine energy. You can then redirect it with intention. That way you can choose what you create rather than being manipulated, or I would say ran by your subconscious patterns. Being able to retreat your energy from your subconscious fluff and redirect it with purpose is literally the foundational work that I do with clients. And this is exactly what I would call the foundation of my hyper-awareness strategy. Directing your energy back from your subconscious fluff that is taking you on a ride and being able to redirect energy with purpose is the foundational work to all of this. So this is actually part of my hyper-awareness strategy, which I use with clients in order to rewire their mind and rewire their reality because of that. This is super important. That's why I'm gonna give you some exercises to do so you can strengthen these two and then use them together. The first exercise, which is very simple, is to meditate every single day, only for 5 minutes, okay? So the first exercise that I'm gonna be giving you is to meditate, okay? You're gonna first meditate the first day for 5 minutes. Okay, and all you're going to do in this meditation is literally just observe your thoughts. You're not just going to observe your thoughts though, you're going to remember them, okay? You can try to do presence work, but a lot of the time we're not actually present with our thoughts. We're not actually observing, we're just allowing ourselves to be taken on a ride by the subconscious. So this is going to put you into the observer seat. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna meditate for 5 minutes, put an alarm, do not do it without an alarm, and you're simply just gonna observe your thoughts and try to remember them, okay? So after the timer goes off, immediately write all the thoughts down in your journal, okay? You're gonna write all the thoughts down. And every single day, you're going to increase this exercise by 1 minute. So if you did it, today for 5 minutes, tomorrow you're gonna do it for 6, and then you're gonna do it for 7. This is going to train your mind to become an observer without judgment. That way you can draw back your energy much easier. And you're gonna be able to eventually do it throughout your day, even outside of being in a meditative state. Now, once you get pretty good at this, I would give it like a week or 2. You're gonna try out the second exercise, okay? And this would be to do the same exact meditation, right? Like once again, 5 minutes, then 6 minutes, then 7 minutes, with the days. But this time, you're not just going to observe. What you're going to do is you're going to hold one thought, one singular thought. It could be a thought of something that you want to intend, right? Like health, like success, like literally anything, okay? That you feel is a thought that you really want to bring into your life. Obviously, you don't want to hold a thought that is negative. You want to hold a thought that is like good, positive, because it is of course going to be programmed into your field. And all you're going to do for this meditation is literally just hold the thought. Hold the thought. If any other thoughts pass by, you're going to retrieve, you're going to throw them away, you're going to just put your energy back onto the thought that you were thinking about, okay? So this is the only thing you're gonna be doing for 5 minutes, then 6 minutes, then 7 minutes, and so on and so forth. What this teaches you is how to concentrate with intention, okay? Because obviously the intention would be the thought, okay? Intent. and you're concentrating your energy on this one intention, on this one thought. So that way, eventually, once you get good at doing these two, what you're gonna do throughout your day is draw your energy back. You're gonna direct it with intention. You don't even need to actually sit down in meditation eventually, although I would continue to do these exercises in order to use this principle, okay? You can do it while you're talking to somebody, right? And you're feeling a little weird, so you draw your energy back, you observe your thoughts, you observe how your body feels, and then you redirect your energy towards maybe confidence, health, success, whatever thought that you want to implement in that moment, however you want your energy to feel. So as you can see, this is super important for raising your vibration, because the ability to retrieve your energy, give it back to yourself, come back to the present moment after being taken for a ride by your subconscious mind, and redirect your energy towards a thought of love is actually what permanently reprograms your mind towards actually being in a high vibration. All right, number 3 is alignment with a higher identity. It's very important for you to have a goal in mind as to where you want your energy to be, okay? Because if you don't have a goal, you don't know where to place your energy. And you're gonna have this goal now, right? But you're gonna continue to raise the bar throughout your life. That way, you're actually permanently raising your frequency throughout time. So understand that this identity that you're going to be creating is going to be more in tune with the vibration of God. Okay, so therefore they're going to naturally have a higher frequency. So because they have a higher frequency, they're going to have different approaches to life, okay? So the exercise I want you to do is to get super clear on who this identity is. How do they approach stressful situations? How do they wake up in the morning and go about their day? How do they speak to people? How do they behave? You really want to pinpoint the vibration of this ideal identity. That way you can redirect your energy towards that. And I want you to remember that this identity, because they have a higher vibration, it means that they have a higher harmonious relationship between their masculine and feminine energies in their energetic field. So once again, you should check out this playlist right here after this video so you can understand how to actually harmonize these two energies within you, because that's part of the work. But let's get a little deeper as to how to actually become that identity, right? Because identity is actually something that you embody in every single level, subconsciously, consciously, and you must understand that identity is made up of, once again, like everything else, because identity is also creation, masculine and feminine. The feminine energy would be the vibration, okay? So this is the energy that is going to kickstart this entire process of creating this identity. This is going to be the vibration and the vision behind this identity. So pinpointing the vibration, right, how it feels, and then envisioning it in your mind, like how you approach things, is super important, because this is going to reprogram your mind to actually embody this frequency first, which you're going to need in order to create the external projection of it, right? Which is going to be done through your will and through your action. So once again, this is something that you feel, you envision, and then you use your will to choose the thoughts throughout your day that are aligned with this vision, and use your will to take action that is going to be aligned with this vibration. If this version of yourself that is higher vibrational entails that you got to set boundaries, right, then you're gonna have to use your will in order to actually set your boundaries externally. If this version of yourself is somebody who doesn't really get faced by stressful situations, then you're going to use your will, right? You're going to visualize it first, and then you're going to use your will to maybe come across stressful situations such as being stuck in traffic, and actually choose to see the brighter side of things. Maybe something happened and everything happens in divine timing, whatever, right? But you're using your will to actually redirect your energy towards where you want it to be. All right, so before we go into the next step, if you're really enjoying this video and you're finding it very helpful, go ahead and subscribe if you're the type that loves expanding in life. And if you're ready to fast track your results, expand your self-mastery, and elevate your life in every single way, check out the link below to see how I will personally get you there. All right, so the last step is to integrate your dark side, because yes, this is not all about like choosing the light and choosing love. You need to understand how to work with the patterns within you that are actually rejecting those higher vibrations, okay? So you cannot get here to where you want to be, right? This desired state, without first facing the aspects of yourself that are resisting this change. This is where the concept of being addicted to your suffering actually comes from, right? Because when we try to change our states of vibration as human beings, we tend to actually find a lot of pullback and resistance that comes along with actually reaching that higher vibration. And that's because there are aspects of yourself that don't feel safe or feel like they're not even worthy of those higher vibrations. So it's very important to actually diagnose them, okay? okay? This goes back to journaling. This is super important to understand. Whenever you begin to see your life and once obviously you become more aware, you begin to observe, this is why this is also very important to draw back your energy and be aware of your existence, you must diagnose what these aspects of you are. A little thing I like to do is journaling whenever I begin to feel just weird, right? Overwhelmed, or when I begin to see myself being a little bit more stressed out, alert, alarmed, etc. We want to really diagnose like what's going on over there. And this is something that you're gonna do, by the way, every single time you raise and raise and raise your vibration. So this is once again lifetime work, okay? This is what I call shadow work. Understanding the aspects of you that are resisting the change that you want to see and working with them to integrate them. A lot of people are like, oh my God, yeah, I've seen a lot about healing the shadow and journaling and making it known, but how do you actually integrate it? How do you actually heal it, quote unquote? What you have to do is understand that these aspects of you, let me use the other marker because it's running out. These aspects of you that are resisting change are rooted in fear, okay? And if you learned and you took your notes, you would know that fear is the absence of love. Now, the only reason why these aspects of you even have fear is because at some point in your life, they had the absence of love. You asked for love in some way, shape, or form, most likely when you were a little kid, and you didn't get it. So that created an emotional distortion in your subconscious mind that brings you back to fear, okay? To feeling like, oh, like if I raise my vibration, that's not really gonna happen because this is actually how I feel and I don't really deserve love, etc. So what we're gonna do is we're going to reprogram fear to love. And the only way to do that is to hold space for your emotions, okay? So yes, you need to feel the dark stuff. This is not just about like feeling good and feeling light. You gotta feel the fear. You gotta feel the anxieties. You gotta feel the stress and the frustrations. Why? Because when you feel these darker aspects of you, you are showing them love. Because feeling is the state of presence, right? Feeling, remember, is an aspect of the feminine energy, the archetype of the inner mother, the one that nurtures and holds in compassion, right? So when you feel these negative emotions, you are showing them unconditional love. Okay, literally unconditional love. You're telling yourself it's okay to feel this way. It may be negative, but I'm still going to hold you. So what happens? You program this aspect of you that thought they didn't deserve love and rejected love to actually receiving love. And this, throughout time, of course, begins to actually almost close up the wound. The more and more that you become comfortable with holding space for your emotions, holding space for your fears, in compassion and with love, right? Validating yourself, the more that you're gonna be able to actually release these vibrations, and that's when you're gonna be able to up spiral in life. And once again, remember, this is not something that you do once and like that's it. You got to do this every single time like this comes forth. So now that you understand the nature of a high frequency, the ability to choose it through your mental power, the ability to direct that energy through an identity, and integrate your dark side, you have now uncovered the true way and path to permanently raising your vibration. Now, I want you to integrate. One of the best ways to actually integrate the knowledge that you learn overall is to communicate it right after you learn it. So comment below 3 biggest takeaways that you got from this entire lesson. My name is Ira Morphy. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.